Went out block walking today, got 2 long forms and handed out 4 short forms.
You're the man. You did early while it's still nice out.
It was a book bag giveaway for return to school over here in Goose Creek. And I hit that up first and they went through it like hotcakes, and it was over in under an hour when it was supposed to be 3 hours. So I figured, all right, I'm already hot and sweaty. I'm just going to go knock this block out. And
that's nice.
Like 2 hours.
Good job, man. Baytown's next, huh?
Yep.
Was it just for voter registration?
So the earlier one was I forget the name of the organization that was giving out the backpacks, but for the Harris County Elections Admin Office had a table set up and needed more help. So I was assisting them, but nonpartisanly because it was theirs. And so I was somewhat undercover. But then when I went back out, I changed shirts, was in full battle gear. I mean, had my HCDP pin, my Baytown Area Democrat shirt, my Our Revolution mask with Medicare for All. So I was kitted out.
Sight to see. Okay, guys, so I'm going to allow a few of our guest speakers first, if we want to just welcome them, and we've got about a minute. We'll open up the waiting room.
Judge Bell, welcome. Always good to see you.
Hello, how are you?
Doing groovy.
Judge Tiaiva Bell, welcome to our meeting. It's great to see you.
I said you too. It looks like the courthouse is about to shut down again, though.
Mm-hmm. It's a difficult time, and it'd be nice to have some consistency around there, Judge.
Yeah.
It's not blaming you at all, but there are some that I'm wondering.
And that's just in felony.
Yes.
Like some people have gotten away and they don't do Zoom at all, which I kind of don't understand. And then I prefer Zoom. I think it's here to stay.
Well, it can be useful for a lot of things, right? And save a lot of time.
It is, and a lot of the felony cases end up with deferred as an offer. And one of the conditions of the deferred is that you, I don't know, have a job. So it doesn't make sense for me to have you come to court once a month, spend half the day in court if I know that you don't get that many days off, and then you fool around and get fired, and then I give you a probation and tell you get a job and keep your time. It doesn't make sense.
Thank you for all you do. We're about to open up the meeting and let everyone in, guys. We are live on Facebook, and we're recording the meeting so we can put it up later on YouTube. So we'll go ahead and let everyone in. And Chuck, you're going to do the greeting. It's on you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are just opening up the gates, and we will allow a couple of minutes for folks to stream in and get comfortable, get situated, grab a snack, grab a beverage, because we got a great show for you here today with Our Revolution Harris County. We will be starting in just a few minutes. So please be patient while we wait for a couple of stragglers, and we are so glad that you are here today. As usual, we will get started and then have a moment for some candidates and electeds to say howdy. And we've got a pretty good slate here today. So hope you have got your notes ready to take down the names of all these amazing candidates who are going to be running, and make sure you vote for them when the time comes. I know it's a little bit off, but the primary will be here in a blink of an eye, I assure you. and we got a
Hey
lot.
guys, how's it going?
Registered.
Hey, Judge. how
Hey,
are
how's
you?
everybody doing?
There's one of our endorsed Our Revolution County judges in the house. David
Just saying
Fleischer,
hello.
good to see you.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Hello, hello. It's wonderful to be here. Wonderful to see you. Hey, John.
Hey, Judge. One of our regular attendees is back in the house. Judge Deidre's in the house. Deidre Davis.
Fleischer, I like how you're trying to look
Yes,
official on a
yes.
Saturday.
Hey, Judge Wright's in the house. Good to see you, Judge.
You too.
Now we know that. How do you know when it's election time, huh? We start getting all of our favorites are coming back to see us. I'm glad that everyone's here. I see Judge Raul's in the chat. He's going to be speaking today. Looking forward to that.
Hello, John.
Hey, Judge, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And Judge Tiara Bell is going to be speaking today as well. Very excited as always to have her back. Both Judge Tiara and Judge Raul are OR endorsed as well and doing great work, as is Judge David Fleischer, not to leave anyone out. Who else do we have here?
Jeremy put it in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and say it for those who are maybe having difficulty following the chat. But if you're able to drop your name and or any contact info you'd like to put in the chat, which side or corner of Harris County that you are representing, we would love to hear from you. I'm Chuck Cruz over here in Baytown on the far side of the San Jacinto River, and we always like to hear, hey, LaPorte, awesome. Good to see you folks on the east side, my fellow East Enders, I guess. We've got folks from all over the county, and it's good to know that we are not alone. We are a building, growing group, and looking forward to get in contact with folks from all over the county. Look to see who your neighbors are, who your buddies are, who your future block walking friends are going to be, because we will be doing that at some point. If we have to go out in full hazmat suits and scuba tanks and God knows what else. I hope that's not necessary. Of course, I'm trying to inject a little bit of humor. But speaking of injections, hope everybody's double vaccinated. If you're not, if you have questions about getting vaccinated, please drop those in the chat. We want to get folks protected. We want to get them safe. We want to give them all the information to reassure them that we can, because we have got a lot of work to do coming up this year and in the run up to next year as well.
Yeah, I want to know if we're going to need a booster or not. You know, is it true that we're going to need a booster?
I think that's
Is it the drug
depend
companies?
on which immunization you originally had. I think that the Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J are going to have different recommendations. I am not a doctor. This is pure speculation, so take it for what it's worth. But I suspect that there will be needs for some of them, if not all. And as Clayton just mentioned, yeah, with different variants, it's entirely possible.
What, there's another variant now?
They're just going to keep coming until folks are fully vaccinated and
participating in the program, right?
right.
I mean,
An unvaccinated person is a virus playground. So the virus get in there and mutate and cause new strains. And the best way that we can fight against it is by getting immunized and closing the doors. Party's over, lights out, go home. No more viral replications and mutations in our bodies.
yeah, if we can just convince our people to listen to the scientists and to their doctors and to the CDC, we'll get through this. But I encourage everyone to follow the guidance. You know, we had planned today on a couple of months ago about breaking out and doing our first hybrid meeting where we'd have a component of it in person. But given what's happened over the last 6 weeks, you know, we made the decision not to do that because we care about you guys and we care about our role and responsibility in the community. So I would encourage everyone to, you know, to mask up if you've not done it already. talk to your doctor about getting your vaccinations, and let's see you around next year, right?
Get the vaccination so you can be around for next year.
That's right. Hey, Jerry's in the house. How you doing, Jerry? Good to see you, man.
Thanks, John. I do want people to know that there is at least one other variant that I've heard about since Delta, which is called either Lambda or Peruvian, which is worse, if one can believe it, than Delta, from what I understand. But I haven't heard of cases of people reporting that, but there is another variant identified that's running around somewhere. My guess is it's called Peruvian because that may be where they found the first case of it. I don't know.
It is from Peru, and there is at least a few cases in Houston already.
Mm-hmm.
What's dangerous about the Peruvian one is the mutation is on the spike, which is what the vaccines are meant to neutralize. So there is some worry that the vaccines may be very not effective against the Peruvian variant. So yeah, just be really careful, y'all.
Yeah.
Also, as you guys are filtering in, anyone who is running for office or who is an elected official that would like to participate during our 1 minute shout out, get your name and information in the chat so we can recognize you. It makes it a lot easier instead of having to go through the heads and figure it out.
All right, folks, we are coming up on 10 minutes past, so I think that is just about time. The trickle has stopped. I think about it like microwave popcorn. Once we're about 30 seconds between new folks showing up, I think that's good enough. And so we are good to get this show on the road. Thank you very much for attending the August meeting of Our Revolution Harris County. We're glad to have all of y'all here. We have a great show for you. I wanted to introduce ourselves. I am Chuck Cruz out here in Baytown. John Floyd. Wait, John, there you go. Latanya Whittington, who is repping over at the Midtown Bar and Grill. We initially had hoped to have a hybrid meeting, and we are just back pretty much on Zoom, but in case anybody wanted to go over to Midtown, we do have Latanya there in person. And also having some of our new, these are now the old ones, old school. So we have new Our Revolution t-shirts. So you can get a fresh printed one there from Latanya. And Jeremy Scheid is also with us on the call. Sorry, howdy, Jeremy, please.
And just get a shout out to the people at Midtown Bar and Grill. They were nice enough to allow us to host this week, and
extremely graciously.
We've not been able to get over there and support them by buying their delicious food. If you want to swing by, meet Latanya, pick up a t-shirt, grab something to eat, that would be fantastic.
Yes, guys, I'll be here until 4 p.m. So if you want to stop by, come on by.
Hold up the new t-shirts.
Can we see him, Latanya?
Jeremy's got one.
Oh yeah, Jeremy's got one. There it is. It looks better on him.
All right.
Look at that. Very nice.
Specifies Harris County.
I got to get me one. Those are cool looking.
All right, folks, just a quick reminder, Our Revolution Harris County, our mission statement. We are working in the furtherance of economic, political, social, racial, and environmental justice through education, direct action, and political engagement. We are looking forward to getting back out and knocking doors at some point. Just a quick reminder, please, if you're not already fully double vaccinated, please do so post haste without delay. We want to thank very much our 2021 dues paid members. Those are the folks that help us help everyone. Money makes the world go round, and money helps us buy our printed items that we need to give to folks when we are going door to door or leaving them at doorsteps. We do have the link there for joining, and it'll be dropped in the chat as well for anyone who is not currently a dues paid member. On our agenda today, we're going to have the Candidates Corner. We are going to have some guest speakers talk about our courts. We have Judge Sean Jones, Judge Tiaiva Bell, Judge Raul Rodriguez and Justice Meagan Hassan. We'll get to them in just a minute. We will then have some updates on the Texas Convention. We are looking forward to a great show. Please carve it out on the 21st. We're going to have a great Texas Convention. Lots of stuff for you, and hopefully a very exciting and recharging time. And then we'll be talking about our upcoming meetings and events and how you can get involved. So we can get started with the candidates corner. I don't see a queue at the moment, so I think I will just go as they're shown on my screen. If I can start off with Judge Andrew Wright.
Sorry, everybody. I didn't realize I was going to be up first. Here I was getting ready. My name is Andrew Wright. I'm the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 7. Thank you for having us. We're trying to do the things that your group has been pushing for. We're trying to change the way we do business in the Harris County Criminal Courts, especially the misdemeanor courts. We push bail reform. We're trying to create a system where attorneys are assigned not by the judges, so it's a more fair and balanced system. Would love your support in 2022. I am seeking re-election. I do have a primary opponent. I'm not going to take up a whole bunch of your time because I think a lot of what we've already done has been talked about in our main speech by Judge Rodriguez. But I'm going to put my contact information, including my phone number and my email address in the chat. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, feel free to do so. Thank you all.
Thanks so much, Judge Wright. Next, I would love to hear from Judge Stalder if you're ready.
Hey, everybody. This is Judge Barbara Stalder. I am the judge of the 280th Domestic Violence Court. My friends call me Babs, which stands for Badass Barbara Stalder. I got the name in law school and it stuck, so you guys are also welcome to call me that. In the 280th, what we have tried to do is take a practical approach to helping people change their lives. We understand that family violence is something that is on the rise, but we want to help people get back on track. So what we have done is we have been offering services to people who may need the extra help. Things like substance abuse treatment, counseling, a parenting course to talk about how family violence affects kids. And there's also an 18-week course that helps them really turn their lives around. We offer courses for both the victims and the people who have been accused of family violence. We're meeting people where they're at. We're helping them change their lives so I don't see them again or they're not seen in the other courts. I put my information in the chat. Please reach out to me if you'd like to visit the court. Appreciate you allowing me to speak, and thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Judge Stalder. Judge Singer, if you're ready. Judge Singer.
I'm sorry, my space bar on mute was not working. Good afternoon, Our Revolution. It is my honor to be able to talk to your group this afternoon. It's also my honor to be your judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 14. I was elected in 2018 with some of these other great judges that are with you this afternoon. We have made the progressive changes that we were brought to the bench to do. I also brought 35 years of experience to the bench when I was elected. I'd like to have your continued support. I got it in the past, and I want to thank you very much for that support. And I'm going to ask for your support and your vote again in 2022. Please support your incumbent elected Democratic judges. My name is David Singer, Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 14. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Judge Singer. Appreciate it. And next up, we have Judge Dunstan, if you're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Linda Dunstan. I'm the presiding judge of the 309th Family District Court. I was elected in 2018 with the wave that we had come through Harris County. And I just want to say thank you. I say it to you, I don't know how many times, I can never say it enough, but give me an opportunity to do what I love to do. And that's helping families across Harris County. One of the things that the family courts have been doing is we've been focusing on families reunification. And what we do is it's a collaborative effort between the community leaders and service providers to help us get the right resources to the families so that the families can be successful in trying to keep their families together. Just like Judge Stalder's, we've seen a rise in family violence in the courts. There's been a lot of stress. We've been having back-to-back stressors like joblessness, COVID, freezes, still left over from Harvey. But even in that, and even with the stressors that are placed on the judges' lives and the lawyers' lives too, we have to remember that these people come from different backgrounds. We still have to give them the same dignity, the same respect, to make sure that they're treated equally and fairly, and know that they love their families just as we love our families. Thank you. I hope that I have your continued support. I really love doing the job that I do, and I want to continue doing it through 2022 and beyond. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Judge Johnson. Always good to hear from you. And next up, Judge Raul Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raul Rodriguez. I am the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 13. Was elected in November of 2018. Proud member of this organization and was proudly endorsed by this group in 2018. I am running again in 2022, so I am asking once again for your support and your vote, and I share the sentiments of my colleagues that are here with me, Judge Wright, Judge Fletcher, Judge Singer, in terms of what we've done in the misdemeanor courts, and we want to continue that hard work in 2022. So Raul Rodriguez, Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 13. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judge Rodriguez. Next, Judge David Fleischer, if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. All right. I'm David Fleischer. I am one of the incumbent judges in County Criminal Court at Law number 5. I'm not going to go through all the spiel, all the yabba dabba do, all the stuff, but what I'm going to say, I mean, you know what we're doing about all that. What I wanted to tell you about is, you know, one of the most difficult things about being a judge is patience, right? You have to have patience. If you don't have patience, get out. One of the things that judges flip out most about is how old a case is. You know, I don't care. I want the best result so that people don't come back. That's the name of the game. You know, so you see a lot of these the other judges, you know, where they put a big emphasis on time. I want, when you do something, you got to get it done correctly. And sometimes it might take a little bit of time. And that's where patience comes in. You know, I have it. I try to have it, right? And I try to practice it. God knows, I mean, just things, you know. I'm running for re-election. I'm David Fleischer for County Criminal Court at Law number 5. I am doing everything in my power to help as much. I am one of your Latino judges. I speak fluent Spanish and I hail from South America. And I take it to try to help the Latinos that come in town here as well, because God, you know, we don't want people coming back. But anyways, I'm David Fleischer running for County Court at Law number 5. I have a primary opponent, so I hope that you guys support me. Thanks.
Thank you, Judge Fleischer. Really appreciate it. Next up, Judge Bell.
Hello, I'm Tiaza Bell, Judge of 339. I'm not going to spend too long because I guess I'll be speaking about bond reform later. And I'm not running. I won't be running for another 3 years, so I'm just pass the time along.
Thanks so much, Judge Bell. Judge Davis, if you're ready.
Yes, hello, our revolution. I am Judge Deidre Davis, judge of the 270th District Court, judge making law and order equal justice, judge who has Proverbs 31:9 in the cuff of her right-hand sleeve. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights and the poor and the needy. Deidre Davis, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm fighting for. I'm making sure that everyone has a voice that comes through that court. I'm running that court with efficiency, with character, integrity, and I'm making sure that you're being represented well. I am Deidre Davis. I would love to continue to serve. We'll be up for re-election in 2022. Plethora of people who will be coming after you, but I've done a lot and I will continue to do a lot. Every promise I made, I exceeded. And one of my proudest moments, or one of my proudest, and I have a few, is that I've had over 1,000 students coming into that courtroom in my first year. And they come in, they get to sit in a chair, they get to hit the gavel. We open up their imaginations. We stimulate their minds. We burn into their minds and into their hearts that they have dreams and they can accomplish their dreams. I came in 2020 during the height of the pandemic, #1 of all 24 civil judges. I came in #1 with trials. I came in #1 of all 24 civil judges in Harris County of clearing out my docket. And I am Judge Deidre Davis. You can find me on Facebook, Deidre Davis for Judge, Instagram, Deidre Davis for Judge, LinkedIn, Deidre Davis for Judge, and Twitter, Deidre Davis Wins. Our revolution, John, thank you so much. I would love to continue to serve, and I need you to rally the troops around me and help me to continue to serve. Thank you so much, and back to you, John.
Thank you, Judge.
Appreciate it, Judge Davis. Thank you so much. I think I've gotten through the majority of the current office holders. There are a few other candidates I wanted to hit. Mr. Rogers.
Judge Hassan, Chuck.
I'm good. All right. Good afternoon, our revolution. My name is Raul Rogers. I am a candidate for Harris County Criminal Court at Law #14. Look, we're going to be hearing a lot about community because community matters and community is important in this next election because we're talking about bail reform. So legal experience is great. I have that. But how about legal experience plus an actual presence in the community? Because that's the heart of the things, right? I'm a former teacher in the Sharpstown community. I taught English to 8th grade students. I'm a mentor with Big Brothers and Big Sisters here in Houston. Also, I train police officers on racial profiling, and I go and do that because I care about our community. I want to make decisions that affect the community, and so therefore, I have a presence in the community. You know what? This presence was before I was even a lawyer, before I even decided to run for office, because this is genuinely who I am. I'm a public servant in and outside of the courtroom. So I'm asking for your support. Raul Rogers, Harris County Criminal Court Law #14. Raul Rogers, Harris County Criminal Court Law 14. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck. We'll be knocking doors for you soon, I'm sure. Next up, we have Paul Calzada.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Calzada, and I'm seeking an election to the 312th Family Law Court. The reason why I'm running is because I believe that the people of Harris County deserve judges who meet the high standards that we expect of our courts and judges. And I think I'll bring those values to the bench. Temperament, integrity, and primarily family law experience. And I don't think these are aspirations. An aspiration is something that you want to do. I think these are obligations, something that you have to do. I've got 18 years of experience practicing law almost exclusively in family law. I've handled hundreds of cases here in Harris County where I've been based my entire career. I think when we run, and I think the other candidates will agree, when we run for office, we're asking the people of our community to entrust us with big responsibility. Responsibility of the bench is very important. And so I think when you have a candidate that goes for that bench and runs for that bench, they should have experience in that area. And I've handled hundreds of cases. I've got a caseload of the last 12 months of over 100 family law cases. And I think it is very important that family law judges be family law attorneys. If you agree, please support me, Paul Calzada, for the 312th Family Court. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, wishing you the best of luck. Next up, we have got Benzon. Sorry.
Yes, no, that's perfectly fine. Hi, I'm Maria Benzon, and I'm asking for your support as I work to become the next HISD school board trustee for District 5. So I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. Here are now my 4 facts about my qualifications. I'm an experienced administrator and teacher. I'm an involved HISD parent and a community leader. I have a background in educational research, and I've been a professor of teachers. And also, number 4 is that I graduated from Booker T. Washington High School, and I've attended the University of Houston and UT Austin. So public schools and public universities is very much my home. And I stand for 3 main issues: equity and justice. I believe that every student deserves a high quality education, and many Black and Brown kids do not have access to exceptional academic learning. My second issue is that I believe that we need to minimize the emphasis on high stakes testing. A test score does not define the worth of a student or a teacher. And number 3, I believe that we need to treat teachers and staff professionally, and that means increasing their pay. So I know we need to do this together. So I ask for your support, because together we are one. Thank you for this opportunity, and please vote for me. My name is Maria Benzon, and I'd like to be the next HISD trustee in District 5. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we wish you the best of luck. Next up, we have Mauricio Vasquez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I have my camera off. I literally just got out of jail. And by that, I mean, I'm a public defender, and I work the bail shifts, the bail hearing shifts, where we represent people coming before the magistrates for the very first time after they've been arrested, to make sure that their side of the story gets heard and that they have an opportunity to get a fair shake with an attorney there representing them before they go to the district courts and the county courts. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Monterrey, Mexico. Grew up in Houston. I've been a public servant my entire legal career, previously as a prosecutor, currently, like I mentioned, as a public defender. And I've handled cases all the way from, like I said, the very first time somebody sees a judge and a bail hearing, all the way through into capital murder appeals. So I'm running for judge of County Criminal Court at Law Number 7. I believe judges should have judicial temperament, and like Judge Fleischer said, the patience. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. I do have to get home to my wife. She has been waiting for me, but I'll be listening with my camera off on my way home on this very important topic of bail reform. If you like more information about me, please follow my social media pages at Vasquez for Judge, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, and we wish you the best of luck. Next up, we have Stephanie Morales.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Morales, and I'm running for State Representative, House District 138, which is North Spring Branch all the way to Barker Cypress, north of I-10. I am a CPS and criminal defense attorney. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's in law and international law. I am the daughter of an immigrant and a teacher. And because of that, I'm running because education is important. I believe that the way to stop the prison to the school to prison pipeline is to fix our education system and to fund our education system. And that starts with funding our extracurricular activities, our fine arts, our sports, and of course, giving our teachers the pay raises that they deserve. I also believe in women's rights and in bail reform as a criminal defense attorney. And I'm running because representation matters. My district is 47% Hispanic, and we have not had a Hispanic person in this position. So I'm running because representation matters. And I hope that you all will support me in my run for House District 138. Stephanie Morales for House District 138. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We really appreciate it. I again, wish you the best of luck. Next up, I've got Patty Leron de Rodriguez.
Oh, I'm not a candidate.
Oh, I saw the stuff around your background, and I thought that was stuff
That's for my husband. He's Judge
sorry.
Rodriguez. Thanks.
All right, I believe I have hit everyone that I am aware of. So if I have overlooked you, I sincerely apologize. And I see a hand up there. So Carlos Aguayo, please.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Carlos Aguayo. I'm the candidate for County Court Law Number 5, Criminal Court Law Number 5. So I'm running, as Stephanie said, because I think representation matters, and I want representation of everyone in the Harris County courtroom. So I'm gonna make it really quick. I'm a immigrant from Mexico. I've worked with elected officials in the Democratic Party my whole life. I'm an assistant district attorney, and I just want to continue my work. And I hope all of you can support me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carlos. So I'm going to have a last call for candidates. If I'm unaware of you, I apologize. I have not done so intentionally, but please throw your hand up in the action so I can see folks and make sure that I haven't missed anyone. And we're going to do a last call, going once, going twice. Candidates and electeds, thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all stopping in and telling folks about us, about you.
Okay, I guess that's my cue, guys. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We really have kind of a special presentation today. Not that all of our speakers aren't very entertaining and knowledgeable and educational, but from my perspective, this is one of the most important issues, and it's one of the issues that our governor has decided to make one of his pet projects. And I'm talking about criminal justice reform, bond reform. When Governor Abbott says reform, he has one thing in mind, right? It's a dog whistle for ginning up fear and hate in order to get political gain. And so what I wanted to do today, and our committee wanted to do, was bring together the reality of things, and to bring some individuals who have been endorsed by our Revolution Harris County, who have been working in the trenches, and who bring real world experience and perspective to the discussion, so we can get past all of the nonsense we're hearing from our governor. So I'd like to welcome everybody. If Judge Raul, Judge T.I. Bell, Judge DeSean Jones, and Justice Meagan Hassan. And we'll see if we can go in order of, I think we're going to start with you, Judge Raul. Can you boot up?
Yes. Hi, John. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'll make this, of course, as brief as I can, but I'm going to talk about specifically bail reform, and I want to start off by the history of how all of this came about. If most of you are not aware of, what happened is that back in 2016, there was an individual by the name of Miranda Lynn O'Donnell that was arrested for the offense of driving while her license was suspended or invalid. And she was a single mother of two. And when she went to jail, she went before a magistrate. And because she did have a prior, the system at that time had a bond schedule in which she was given a $2,500 bond. She was not given a personal bond. And in fact, she was not even allowed to speak so that the magistrate can determine whether or not she qualifies for a personal bond. As a result of that, that charge, she was unable to afford getting out of jail on a $2,500 bond because she was arrested for driving while license suspended. So subsequently, she filed a class action suit in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of Texas, which is located here in Houston. And specifically, she was saying that the bond bail system in Harris County violated the Equal Protection and Due Process Clause of the Constitution. It went up before Judge Lee Rosenthal, who heard the case. And during that time, the Harris County Criminal Courts of Law were all Republican judges. And at that time, they fought the lawsuit. And so it went on through the legal system, and it was being fought from 2016 all the way until 2018. And the Harris County Criminal Court of Law judges at that time, the Republican judges, were against having this lawsuit settled. They wanted to keep control of the way that the bail system is done. They wanted to keep control of how bonds were set. And so they fought it. And of course, unfortunately, they were represented by our Harris County judge, and it cost the county millions of dollars to defend this lawsuit. Well, I guess fortunately for us, in November of 2018, there was a number of candidates. In fact, all 15 Harris County criminal courts at law at that time were contested by Democrats. And fortunately for us, all 15 of the Democratic Harris County criminal court law judges candidates won their election. And so therefore, once we took the bench in January 1st, once we were sworn in to be a judge in January 1st of 2019, we were also part of this lawsuit automatically as judges. Well, collectively, all 16 of the Harris County Criminal Court at Law judges decided that we need to settle this lawsuit, and we did so. We did by making an agreement to settle this lawsuit, and in January of 2019, we as a group decided we're settling this lawsuit. And all of us as a group went ahead and entered into a settlement agreement with the federal district court in settling this lawsuit. And so as a result of this, in February of 2019, we adopted what we call now as Rule 9 that allows us to determine whether or not people that are charged with non-violent misdemeanor offenses should be released. Part of the agreement was that we decided that any person that is charged with a misdemeanor offense that's non-violent will automatically be released on a general order bond or personal bond within 48 hours. So that's one of the main things that we decided to do, and we've done it. And so now it's to the point where all of us and anyone that's released, anyone that's charged with a non-violent misdemeanor offense will be released within 48 hours on a non-surety, non-cash bond. Now, there are exceptions, of course. We did build into the rules exceptions, such as exceptions for violent criminal offenses, such as assaults, family member assaults, driving while intoxicated as a second offender. Those particular offenses, they go over to the presiding judge of the court, and that judge will decide whether or not to release someone on a personal bond or a surety bond or give some bond conditions. But overall, it's been a very huge success in that now individuals who do not have the resources to pay a bond can be released within a 48-hour period if they are charged with a non-violent low offense misdemeanor. And now, as a result of the Rule 9 that we've implemented, now we have a lesser amount of individuals that are incarcerated at the Harris County Jail that are charged with misdemeanor offenses. So the amount of people incarcerated for misdemeanor offenses has been reduced significantly at the jail. And that's very important now because of COVID, especially in 2020, when COVID was at its peak, because there was a large number of individual inmates in the Harris County Jail that did have COVID. So we're proud to say that we've implemented this Rule 9. We are working hard to continue the hard work. And now, of course, the legislature, in their infinite wisdom, wants to try to do away with this Rule 9 by trying to pass legislation to take away the power of the judges in determining what type of offenses we can grant personal bonds. So that's some of the things that's going on in the legislature, and hopefully, if everything works out, that will not be implemented. But that's kind of the history of the O'Donnell settlement, the Rule 9, and we're hoping that we want to continue the hard work that we've done.
Hey, Judge, thank you so much for that. You know, I know that you have an incredible story yourself, getting to the bench and where you are in life. And what I'd like to ask you is kind of, given your personal experiences and for people who have not been through the system, why is it so important that people be, especially nonviolent, first-time offenders, why is it so important that those people be allowed out on a non-cash bond as opposed to the previous system that was employed?
Well, unfortunately, the statistics show that most of the individuals that are charged with misdemeanor offenses are people of color, poor people, people that live paycheck to paycheck, and they cannot afford to be to pay a bond. And prior to us being elected, there was a bond schedule that was implemented by our predecessors, whereby if a person is charged with a misdemeanor offense, his bond is set at X amount. If that person has a prior, whether that be a misdemeanor or a felony, his bond is set at a higher amount. And there's like a scale that increases depending upon the charge and any prior criminal history. And most of the time, the magistrates at that time were not granting personal bonds, and the judges that were the sitting judges at the time, which were all Republicans, were not granting personal bonds. So what happened is we have an individual or individuals that were charged with, non-violent misdemeanor crimes that could not get out of jail. They needed to return to their jobs because they were afraid of losing their jobs. They needed to return to their families to support their families. So it got to the point where they had no choice but to plead guilty on their offenses to get out of jail. And that's not right, because many of those individuals did have a legitimate defense that they could go ahead and fight their charges, but they did not want to remain in jail. And so they were forced to plead on their cases. Well, obviously that is not right. Everybody is entitled to a defense. And so what we've decided to do is allow those individuals, especially the people of color, both brown and black, and those that are poor and indigent, the opportunity to be released, to go back to their families, to go back to their jobs, and let the attorneys handle their cases. And that way, they can go ahead and go on with their lives. That's why it's very important.
That's excellent. Thank you, Judge.
Hey, John.
Yes.
John, I got Raul is just 100% correct. You and I, John and Raul, we've been doing this for a long time. I've been practicing for who knows how long. And the way things are in Harris County are a complete 180 than it used to be the Harris County of 10 years ago. I mean, it's completely different in every way. People are nicer, more help is given, and the judges are just, it's completely different, and it's for the better, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Judge. I see that Egberto has his hand up. What we'll probably do, Egberto, if you don't mind, is we'll get through the panelists, and then we're going to open it up for questions. So on that note, Judge Tiaiva Bell recently, in the last election cycle, was OR endorsed, and is another judge that has come to exemplify what progressives and progressive thinking people can do when put in positions of authority. Tiaiva Bell, Judge Bell, can you boot up?
I am here.
There you are.
We're going to give everybody 5 minutes for these, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
try to
so
keep
keep an eye on my window.
Okay.
No worries. It should not take you 5 minutes. I more so appreciate the questions part. There's a lot of misinformation as it relates to bond reform on the felony level. We were not a part of the O'Donnell lawsuit. We were later sued, but then I guess they said that because of judicial immunity, they took us out of the lawsuit, which was, in my opinion, a little problematic. We do need bond reform as it relates to the felony district court. There are so many things that we talk about, and I hate one of the part of the canons prohibit me from talking about specific cases or anything that's ongoing or anything that can pretty much pop up in the court. But you see this stuff on the news, and it's only a portion of the story. You talk about the numbers that people are paying X amount of dollars, and for a bond, there's a bond schedule in place for any of these judges that are currently on the bench out in their place. Those numbers are a lot lower than the numbers that you currently see coming out of the courthouse. We're not talking about how the numbers that people are paying are higher, but we still have an issue. That should tell us that the number does not solve the problem. You actually look to solve the problems and look at things like bond conditions. If somebody, based on the offense and based on the history, needs some treatment, well, you recommend that as a condition. or you make sure that they're getting drug tested or pat, as opposed to just paying a couple dollars and then not put in your case. There are so many things that we can do that actually go to the root of the problem as opposed to just money. And what floors me about some of the new legislation that they're attempting to propose, it's not a win. It's not about community safety, if we're being honest. And I understand that that's the big key word or the buzzword that we want to use right now. But the reality of the situation is they didn't change what offenses you can make bond for. They didn't give us rules that say, hey, if this person has been arrested 147 times, they have to be denied bond. No, you didn't do that. What you said is place people like groups like Restoring Justice, you can't get together and put the bond money together. Instead, they have to go through a bond. This is not about community safety. This is about making sure that they put the money in the bondsman's pockets that they lost when they had bond reform at a misdemeanor level. If you really want to go to bond reform, you need to actually look at the cases. You need to actually look at the conditions that you're putting in place. You need to actually look at the rules that allow for some offenses to get bonded over and over again. I see a lot of people talking about, well, this person made a bond. Well, if you're looking at the rules, and we actually talked about the rules, there's only 2 cases that you can hold a person at no bond. Violation of protective order and a capital murder after the state has had a hearing to show that there's a substantial likelihood the person will be convicted. Everybody else is entitled to a bond. We kind of lose sight of the fact that in this country we have this presumption that you're innocent until you're proven guilty. That's what we say. But if you hold somebody in custody, why do you use the benefit of a trial? You should look at the numbers and see how many of these cases after people have spent years in jail end up dismissed on trial day. That says something. And a lot of those people are not there because they committed the offense. They are there because they can afford to make the bond. I could go on and on in excess of my 5 minutes, but I would just really love any question you have. I will give you my honest assessment and my honest answer. Yes, we do need bond reform. What I see in the media infuriates me because it's a lot of hype that is geared more so towards fear mongering as opposed to actually addressing the problem. And if the problem was really addressed, then some of the people making money off of the criminal justice system don't make as much. It would actually serve to benefit some people that are processed through the system, and we really need to do that.
Right. And what's interesting, Judge, is that, we hear all this fear mongering from primarily from people on the right, the Republican Party. The reality is there's been no change in bond laws, right? There's been no change. These are the same rules that they lived under for all those years. For the first 20 years of my practice, they were running the criminal courthouse. So all this is nonsense, and it's trying to take the eye off the ball, when in reality, people like you have to follow the law, right? And you have to follow, look at all the considerations that you're required to look at by statute, and to blame judges for things that people do when they're released. I didn't see them doing that when all their judges were people were getting in trouble and having issues on their bond. So,
or they complain about the bond numbers.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things is a first-degree felony at $350,000. Well, here's the thing that I find amusing about that. When there was a bond schedule in place, that same first-degree felony under the previous regime, if the person hadn't been convicted of a prior felony, the bond would be set at $30,000. If they had been convicted of a prior felony, despite they were charged with a murder, according to their bond schedule, the bond would have been set at $50,000. $350,000 is a lot more than the $50 they would have set it at back then, but we're abandoning justice and we can have no regard. No, let's just talk about what the problems are and address those. But let's not make false distinctions, especially when the paperwork in the rule, or not the paperwork, when the evidence shows bonds are a lot higher now than they were when the other judges were in place. We still have a problem. So let's address the problem instead of pointing to false distinctions.
Right. Thank you, Judge. Thanks for all you do. Next up, has Judge DeSean Jones joined the call? I didn't see him in the queue, so I'm afraid he may be having some technical issues. Judge Jones, are you on the call? Can you load up? Well, if he does chime in, guys, let's keep an eye out for him and we'll get him up. So that would leave us next with one of our OR endorsed appellate judges, Justice Meagan Hassan. Are you on, Meagan?
I am. Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. Good to see you.
Great to see you too. I am also not up for election this year. I came in with the 2018 crowd, but my term is 6 years, so I will be running in 2024 if they don't eliminate our districts in the meantime. But so we don't deal at the appellate level. We deal with bail only when it's brought to us because, and so generally speaking, we deal with it practically from the prosecution side. The DA is usually the one who has problems with the bail and brings up those arguments to us, and then they go to the Court of Criminal Appeals. So what I really wanted to talk about in my short amount of time was the big picture and the messaging part, right? Because we see it from the big picture where, you know, we see a lot of these issues right across the board in every criminal court, not just in Harris County, but in the other 9 counties that we preside over. And the issues are the same in a lot of these counties, but the messaging of right-wing and conservative candidates, officials, news outlets, pundits, activists has been pretty consistent since the 2018 election. And crime rates, first of all, I think we need to acknowledge the fact that crime rose last year substantially. Like, we cannot get around that. Crime rose during the pandemic. And although it's already showing signs of dropping again, like over the July 4th weekend this year, violent crime was down 26% from where it was last year. I think that, you know, the messaging that sometimes is used in response to right-wing talking points like, well, but even accounting for the increase in crime in 2020, we're still at a lower rate than we were in like the 1990s. That's not an effective argument right now. So we need to kind of just really focus on the fact that where the Texas Legislature, I don't know how many of you were watching the hearings on bail reform during the regular session, but they were bringing in witness after witness of people whose families had died from, you know, murders that were people who were let out on bond. These are very small numbers in the grand scheme of all of the people that are let out on bond that they can afford, but these messages resonate with the law and order crowd and the people who are like, we need to be kept safe at all costs. I had a discussion that was extremely illuminating during the winter freeze with a city official in one of the small cities in Harris County, where he said, well, you know, people are just scared, and if we have to build more jails, we should build more jails. That is not what we need to do, right? So what I would really like to see is a pushback on those statistics, right? The conservatives in the Texas Legislature keep pushing the fact that bail reform is the biggest driver for the crime increase in Harris County in 2020. We know that's not true from what Judge Bell just said, because they're not under any kind of different rules. They're not under any kind of, the felony courts had nothing to do with the O'Donnell lawsuit for the misdemeanor courts. And so it's exactly the same system as it has always been. And so that increase in crime, like I said, nationwide, in Houston, there was, excuse me, there was a 35% increase in homicides last year in Houston. In Lubbock, it was 102%. And so these are things that we have to be pushing back on when we get those talking points thrown at us from constituents, from the, you know, people that we're talking to, people that we're trying to reason with. We need to say, listen, this has happened everywhere. This has happened in places that didn't, quote unquote, defund the police. Because I think that the legislatures in Texas also like to conflate Austin's reduction of money for their police force with Houston's bail reform, and then just kind of mix it up together and say, and magically crime increased. But that's not, I mean, it's not logical unless you don't know the numbers behind it. And so again, the other kind of important message is that homicide is the #1 crime that increased last year. A lot of other crimes decreased significantly. Property crimes were at one of their lowest rates ever. Theft of cars, robberies, things like that. So I think it's just a matter of trying to understand where people are coming from. They are coming from a place of fear, and making them understand that this is not something to be afraid of. This is something that will, in fact, make our community safer. So that's just my point, and from a big picture perspective.
And I think those are incredibly, relevant points. It's obvious from people who study the system and work within the system that what we hear from our governor and his cronies is all nonsense. They're trying to use fear and hate to prop up their side, and it's very unfortunate that we've not found a better way of pushing back. Because we know that these judges, what they're trying to do in a lot of these counties now, are to actually hear all the circumstances behind a person's life, to judge their risk of offending while they're out on bond or of not appearing for court. And in most cases are making excellent decisions. And you're right, Judge, the violence is up all across the country, right? And it's not because we've defunded the police. We've not done that here, right? It's not because of bond reform, because we've not done that here. We've had a court declare that our misdemeanor system was unconstitutional, but that's a very limited set of factors. So as always, it's great to hear from you. Thank you for joining us. And I think what we want to do now is kind of open it up for questions. If everyone will keep their questions kind of brief, we'll give our guests more time. Once again, did Judge DeSean Jones get on the call? I didn't see him earlier. If you're on in some other capacity and I'm not able to see your ID, let us know or raise your hand, but I don't see it. So they'll give us a little bit more time to answer some questions. The first hand I saw up was my brother, Egberto Willies. You have a burning question for me, man?
Thank you, brother, for having me, giving me a chance to ask a question. First of all, to Judge Hassan and Judge Bell, thank you very much for what you just said, and specifically all the points that Judge Hassan spoke about. I think it is so important. I'm going to just come from a political kind of guy. The messaging out there that is going out right now is we have bloggers and all of these guys on the right calling into shows, including my show, that are trying to put that issue of the bond, the scaring people about bonds, people being let out without bonds and all that sort of thing. And in as much as you all are all right that it's a bunch of bunk and statistically there is no difference with what's particularly occurring, that is not the message that's getting out to the people. And my urging and my asking of you is to frame the message the same way their message hit at people's guts right now, is how I am asking you all to use us to come up with a message that hits their guts, something that's going to touch them in the same manner that their fear that you're talking about is all about. So please go ahead and address that if you will. But again, we would be more than happy to assist you in making sure that that message goes out, because as it turns out, unless it goes out, we're going to lose a lot of judges, because people are very scared about what's going on, and the message that they have is much better than the message that we're putting out, and we have a better message. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Berto. Appreciate you coming on, man. Who would like to hit that? Judge Tiava Bell, would you like to respond? Oh, you're on mute.
You want me to time this?
Yeah, how about let's try to keep it to a minute or so while we keep boots up, and then we can get through more questions that way.
I think Scott's message in the chat was really good, but I also think that we need to be looking to bond conditions, and we also need to be looking to a change in the bond law to actually address the hot button issues. Namely, if you've had God knows how many cases, there's a point where you need to stop doing your bond. But under the current rules, I'm not allowed to deny you bonds if you have a million cases. Every case, you're entitled to mine. Now, I can take them and I can make them higher, but that doesn't do anything. We also need to get out of this frame of mind where we think incarceration is going to solve any problem. We need to be looking towards what really works and tracking the stats. The Houston Chronicle, which sometimes gets a little wrong, did an article where they actually looked at the rise in bond numbers and they looked at how these changes were affected in the crime rate. And they said, bond is not the problem. Their conclusion was people are out longer, so they end up having more cases, but it's not that they're out for PR bonds, because all of these cases they bring people in to talk about, all those cases, most of those people are on surety bonds, meaning they paid money to get out on bond. So your problem is not with criminal justice reform as it relates to felony judges leaving out, because that's not the case.
All right.
The bonds are higher now.
Yeah.
The problem is a result of the laws and how they affect some particular crime. So if you really want to get serious about the issue, address the laws as it relates to certain types of crimes, as opposed to the monetary requirement. Because under their new rules that they're proposing, you can murder somebody, and you know what? They didn't put something in place if you murder 2 more people, saying now you have to be in jail. No, if you can pay a bondsman and put money in their pockets, you can still get out.
That's right.
I guess I'm not the best at making it a catchy little slogan, but I just think you need to draw attention to the fact that although you're making this argument, if you cared, you would change the law as it relates to who can get out, not how much they have to pay to get there. Money doesn't solve the problem.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Raul, are you still on? Would you like to address this?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah, it's really an interesting thing. How do we do a better job messaging the reality? And that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to have this discussion, is how do we message the reality? How do we talk about the backstory about what's really going on and not letting the other side take control of something and making it worse than it really is?
Well, one of the things that I can do is I can share to the group a link, because one of the things that the federal court did in our consent decree, what the decree that we entered into with the federal court, is to have what they call a monitor. So there's individuals that are actually monitoring what we do as misdemeanor judges. They are looking at statistics. They're seeing how many people are being released from custody through this new system that we've implemented. And they're also looking at recidivism. They're determining whether or not those individuals that are released from jail commit new crimes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a link that is prepared by it's called the O'Donnell Monitor Report, and it lists on their statistics as to what the number of crimes that have been committed since 2019, as far as individuals that have been released from jail. And in that particular report, it indicates that they've only found that only 1% of those individuals that have been released on bonds have committed new crimes. So that's kind of the messaging that we're not getting out. I think the bad messaging that's happening is those exceptions, those real small exceptions where someone is released on a bond and then commits a horrific crime.
Right.
They're being advertised, they're being said a lot, and they don't say that that's probably less than 1% of the overall individuals that were released from jail. Right. So the only thing I can do is just share this report with the group, and hopefully people can see and can read this report. It's very detailed, and it has statistics as to what has happened since the Democratic misdemeanor judges have been elected and are actually presiding, as to what has happened. So I'm going to share the group here in a minute.
Yeah, thank you, Judge. And I think that's important because, people were committing crimes while they were out on bond before this consent decree came down, right? Before things changed. And they're not comparing apples to apples. But Justice Meagan, Hassan, I'd like to hear what you got to say about this. What do we do about our messaging? You really brought it up and kind of hit it home.
I mean, I am I think that having a really strong progressive message on this is very important, and kind of getting the points out there in, like Egberto was saying, in statements that really hit the hearts of people, because these are people that, like, bail reform in the misdemeanor courts level, which is really the only place it's happened yet in Harris County, has legitimately changed people's lives. They've been able to, if they get out of jail, they don't have to plead to a crime to get out of jail. They have been able to keep their jobs. They've been able to support their families, and they have been able to be, continue to be productive members of society. And I think that these are stories that we need to focus in on, right? The conservatives in the Texas legislature have done a really good job of cherry picking individuals who have been hurt by people who've been out on bail and have committed other crimes. We need to find stories. We need to start finding those stories of people whose lives have been improved, not just for the better, but in ways that we can't even imagine. Like I said, at my level, I see a lot of different punishments, for instance, from the criminal court judges, and they vary wildly, right? So for a first-degree felony, the punishment range is 5 to 99 years. So that's pretty much not even a punishment range, right? That's almost anything. Like you can put somebody in jail for 5 years or 99 years for the same exact crime. And what we see from this 10,000 foot view is that people from non-white communities are getting longer sentences.
Right.
Don't keep the statistics in Texas. Some states actually keep statistics on the sentencing and the punishments that these people get to prove racial bias and racial animus. We don't do that because it is not a priority for our legislature.
Right.
So I think that finding people with those stories is key, and amplifying them.
I think you make a great point. The other side has done a great job, and they've always done a great job. You think about Willie Horton, they've used crime as this dog whistle to gin up hate and fear. And, it's always said, the bad cases make bad law, right? And this is an example of that. And we've just not found a good way of messaging it. So thank you, Judge. I see a couple of hands up. We're just going to keep these comments to like 30 seconds.
It looks like DeSean is on the call.
Oh. Ooh. Judge Jones, have you joined the program? We were just...
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, man. I know you must have been having some technical difficulties, but I don't know how much of this you've caught, but we were just having a discussion. In fact, we're just about to wrap it up. I'd like for you to give us a couple minutes, kind of give us your perspective about, what's the reality behind, the rhetoric we're getting from the governor and them targeting Harris County in particular, saying that our judges and our efforts at treating people like human beings are increasing the crime rates and violent crime. I know you and I have talked about this before, but can you kind of share your perspective with the group?
So I agree. One of the things I just caught was someone mentioned the idea of Willie Horton, that whole scheme being reused again. That's why I think it's important to always, have some understanding of history, because historically, these techniques have been used before. And another thing I heard when I jumped on the call was someone saying that, the statistics just aren't there to support what they're trying to do. Ultimately, as judges, we have a duty to follow, first the United States Constitution, and even follow the Texas Constitution, which only provides a few reasons why you should hold someone at no bond. Oftentimes it seems where the media takes a misstep is that you noticeably a lot of their stories, you'll never see them cite the law. They never once cite the law. They usually rely heavily upon emotion. And I get it, these are like usually emotional, trying issues, but judges, we have to follow the law. And I feel like we are following the law. If we weren't following the law, they'd have us sitting somewhere, trying to remove us from the bench. But and then I think another thing that's interesting is just with the way that I feel that some people are using, particularly the media now, is that noticeably they're trying to change the law, like, which means if they're changing it, we must be following it as it's written. And I think that's the most important thing, for people to kind of not lose sight of the fact that we do have a Texas Constitution, and Article 1, Section 11, it states why you can actually hold people. And no time will you ever see any of the media outlets I've seen them ever refer to law or even have like a legal expert to discuss why people are being released, which is perfectly legal. And like you were saying, like just treating people like humans. And I think one thing that gets confused too is that people confuse the arrest with a conviction. Oftentimes when someone's arrested, they just assume, once you get arrested, you're automatically convicted. And it's like they don't respect due process rights in a sense. We have to actually have a trial and let people have a hearing, have their due process rights, go through discovery, and either come to the judge or sit in front of 6 or 12 people to make a determination. So those are my, I guess, immediate thoughts.
We also had a kind of a follow-up question that the panel got to hit out about messaging. Why is this right-wing, hate-based, fear-based messaging? Well, we know why it's effective, but what do we do from the other side to make our messaging more effective, to reflect the reality of what's going on and some of the root causes about the situation a lot of these people are facing and the courts and all of that. So you have any thoughts about that? What can we do to better message from our side?
Not so much about the messaging per se, but the messaging I feel like should have some form of education. I think the thing that keeps getting missed is everyone keeps talking about these personal recognizance bonds, whatever. If you go and look at Chapter 17 of the code, it's called a personal bond. We don't have those here. We don't have PR bonds. And I understand we use that term all the time. I think the education needs to improve. People need to understand what a personal bond is. People need to understand that, hey, for most personal bonds, we're not even waiving the fees. They're actually still paying a fee. And because there's this sentiment that, they're getting out on this free bond. If you go and do just a little bit of research, you'll see, hey, there was actually a 3% fee that they actually paid. So, and that's what people are hyped up about. And so they don't even really understand what they're arguing about. So I think people need to learn what a personal bond is versus a personal recognizance bond, so they can actually have an intelligent conversation. Because half the arguments are based on things that don't even exist, which I think is interesting.
Yeah. And that's what we've been talking about, is how do we do a better job of countering the false narrative and the fake news.
I haven't seen it doesn't seem like a lot of media outlets are interested in, I think they like the clicks. I mean, I haven't seen one media outlet that's really like, hey, let's talk about, educating and what's really going on with the Constitution and what's really going on with the Code of Criminal Procedure. All I see is, clickbait. I mean,
yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem, the media outlets.
Well, they're always looking for a scandal, like a horrible case. And use that to drive this narrative that's the reality and just scare the heck out of everybody. So, well, I'm glad you're able to join us, Judge. We got a few more hands up. I see Judge Oaks. You have a question?
No, I just have a comment. We have to combat this fear mongering, because that's what it is. And now it's local. And that's exactly, we have to call that out for what it is. And too bad we can't just quote FDR all the time. The only thing we have to fear is fear, because the laws have changed to benefit the citizenry. And we should always remind people that we are balancing community safety with rehabilitation. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. So are there any other questions out there for our excellent panel? I don't see any hands or anything else in the chat. So first of all, I'd just like to thank all of you for joining us. This has been a very educational and in some ways disturbing conversation about what we need to do. And part of that falls on us, right, as an organization as well. What can we do to help get the message out as well? And so it reminds me that we all have work to do to make sure that what these judges have discussed and this messaging we need to get out there is done. And that's why it's so important to stay plugged in with our revolution, Harris County. Thank you, judges, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. We know you're so busy, and everyone else. So now we will move on to the next portion of our program. Jeremy, are you want to? We're going to talk about the state convention next, I believe.
Yes.
There we go.
So as we discussed in our previous meetings, our Revolution Texas is having our convention here on August 21st. And there's also some information for us to share with you. Business-wise, we're going to update our endorsement process, and our recommendation is posted in the chat. We also have an update of our bylaws for ORTX. And as always, I put it here in the chat as well. Now, this is going to be the biggest convention that OR will put on, biggest event all year. We're having a lot of guests coming over. We're going to have panel discussions on multiple different topics. We're also going to not just be informative, we're also going to have some fun interaction activities. So don't expect just to sit at your computer all day and watch and listen to people talk. It's going to be interactive where you can share your opinions as well and your thoughts. We had a couple members on the call who's on the convention committee. I don't know if anyone else wanted to add on to this, say what to expect. You can always sign up, click on the mobilize link in the chat to sign up. Please do sign up. You'll get all the updated information if you sign up now. I don't know, Scott, I know you were working on the convention committee. Is there anything you wanted to add?
It is shaping up really well. We have most of our panelists lined up, most of our keynote speakers lined up. We're going to have Jasmine Crockett and Penny Shaw kick things off. We have a great panel on transforming the party. Farouk Shamsi was in the call today. I don't know if he's still here, but he just managed to rearrange his schedule today to be on that panel. John's son, Mike Floyd, who is a true history maker in the Democratic Party, is going to be on there as well. We have a panel on what it's like to be a progressive candidate, how to run and run successfully. Christian Menifee is going to be there. I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And of course, we're going to have candidates from all around the state. So folks that we haven't seen necessarily before, who may have some interesting perspectives that we haven't heard. And of course, we're going to do our business, which is incredibly important. We've actually not had official bylaws for the state of Texas for our revolution since we began because they were too contentious. But we finally got something worked out that everybody's happy with. So for me, that's a big deal. We just have to ratify them at the convention. We have to ratify our new endorsement process. We have to ratify our code of conduct. So those are important pieces of business that we'll get done. So it's going to be I think it's a 4 or 5 hour program, 11 o'clock, 12, 1, 2, and 3. We'll have an event starting each hour. So if something in particular interests you, you can tune in for that hour. So it's very much a kind of a menu of things that you can participate in.
Fantastic. Thanks for the update. Hey, Jeremy, you mind if we check in on LaTanya, see how she's doing there? I know
Sure
she's been on
thing.
this committee as well. LaTanya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys. How's everyone?
How's it
All
going
right.
there, LaTanya? You
It's
doing all
going
right?
great. It's going great. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay. Well, I am remote, but I'm not in Washington, D.C., in which actually I would be raising some sand if I was there. But I am at Midtown Bar and Grill. We were supposed to come here, but unfortunately, with COVID and everything that's going on, we plan to do a remote. I really think it turned out amazing. You guys did a wonderful job. Thank you to all the judges on the panel. We really got some great information today, and all of the judges and all the candidates that were here. Thank you so very much for supporting our revolution, Harris County, okay? because without you, we would not be. And so I brag about you guys all the time. Everywhere I go, I tell them about our judges, okay? And all of the members, you could have been anywhere this Saturday, but you plan to come here. So we thank you so much. And hopefully you guys can come out and we can be here at Midtown and Bar and Grill. Check out my sign, John. What you think?
Yeah. No, it's nice. It looks good. Let's tell them what we think, huh?
Criminal justice reform, that's what's up. And then also, we got Bernie over here. Right when you walk in the door, you're gonna catch Bernie. So that's what's up in our revolution. Now, this is what we were talking about. We're talking about the shirt. So we finally got our revolution shirts. You guys, you need to get one, okay? Because a lot of things is happening. You want to have your shirt on to represent our revolution, Harris County. So no one came today, but get with me, get with John, get with Jeremy, get with Chuck, get with us. We're going to make sure that you get your shirts, okay? And then also, I registered someone to vote today. Did you see that? Did you check that out today?
All right. All right. Great work, Latanya.
Did you see me register someone to vote today?
No, but we're hearing about it. Thanks you for all your.
Okay, well, I registered someone to vote today. All right. And it's his first time to vote. He's never voted before, but that's what it's all about. Changing things and fixing the democracy and standing up for America. All right. So I think what I'm supposed to introduce is the members minute. Are we still doing that, John?
Not yet. Not yet. We've got a few more segments. We'll just stay tuned, Latanya.
Okay, well, I'm hanging on. All right.
Okay. All right. Latanya Whittington, our activist on the street today. Chuck, do we want to go into our monthly award? We had a special award to give this month.
Absolutely. So with leaving all other competitors in the dust, we proudly, unfortunately, drop a F- on Greg Abbott. And I really don't know where to begin, so I'll start from the top. Still nothing significant in the main session nor in the first special session to fix the damn grid. The special session was called almost exclusively to focus on voter suppression legislation. And thankfully, the Texas House Democratic Caucus got their butts out of the state and broke quorum and are still in DC fighting away from home to protect us all back here in Texas. He issued Executive Order 37 to encourage racial profiling stops. Basically, if law enforcement sees somebody that they think might, maybe, possibly, kind of, perhaps be illegally transporting someone, they can stop them with just, I thought so. And so that's obviously going to be used to racial profile God knows how many thousands of regular old Texans. Claims to be in favor of small government, yet bans mask mandates. So if somebody wants to refuse to bake a cake for a gay couple, that's okay. But if you want to refuse to allow unvaccinated, unmasked people inside your establishment, you can't do that. Thank God, or whatever. Several folks are defying this prohibition on mask mandates and are in favor of protecting our populace. So we'll see how that goes in the next couple of weeks. And this is really the one that I feel like should be a talking point until the end of time. Following the freeze in which Energy Transfer Partners and several other of the hydrocarbon industry majors made millions and billions of dollars of windfall profits because of the pricing of the natural gas that they didn't even deliver. Several of them recorded windfall profits and then gave huge donations to Greg Abbott. Leading this was Energy Transfer Partners. For those who don't know, I have a chemical engineering background. I have personally visited Energy Transfer Partners facilities. They are all over America. However, they almost all come down to a product sold to the general public through Sunoco Logistics. Do not, please do not buy gasoline or anything from any Sunoco station, because every dollar goes straight to Energy Transfer Partners to bribe Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott wins hands down, far and away, the F-. I wish we could give a triple F-, because he's just awful.
Not to mention all the other hate and fear mongering and legislation that he proposed and going after marginalized groups. I wish we could give him more than an F, but that was as low as our scale went. Thank you, Chuck. Moving on, Scott, you mind giving us a quick treasurer's report?
Sure thing. So if you were here last month, as you recall, we voted overwhelmingly to reorganize as a PAC, Political Action Committee, at the state level. That is so that we can operate as an independent legal entity from the state and national organizations. State is merging into national, so this is a very opportune moment to take that step. I have, as our new treasurer, gone through all the paperwork and steps that you have to follow to get registered as a PAC. That's all done. I have also taken all the steps, and Bill Hunn has helped me with this in setting up a bank account, but it is not quite open and ready for business yet. I'm expecting maybe Monday or Tuesday to get the green light on actually using our new account. It's with a very interesting bank out of New York called Amalgamated Bank. They are union run, union operated, and stand for a lot of the same values that we do. So I was very happy to find them. So that's not quite ready to go yet. So we don't have a formal treasurer report. In future meetings, we will have a formal treasurer's report. I can tell you from talking to our previous treasurer that we've got about $11 because we took most of our cash and we spent it on those t-shirts that you saw at Midtown Bar and Grill. So we need you to buy those t-shirts so we can get some of that money back. And we should have an online donation link for you next time, or even on our Facebook page in between now and next time, that you can donate directly to the chapter with. The donations that you saw coming on the way into this meeting through Mobilize are all going to state and national. So this is very exciting, because once we get a good amount of cash built up in our account, we have a lot of things that we can do with that. We can, for example, donate to campaigns. PACs can do that, whereas the old 501c4 could not. So if we decide that it would be a good idea for our endorsed candidates to get a little cash in accompanying their endorsement reward, then that's something we can do. And I think our members will be interested in that, because it's nice not to have to research the many candidates that we go through, and just give it to one organization who knows who the progressives are and will send the money to the right place. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, thanks for all you're doing, Scott. I appreciate it, man. That's wonderful. It's good for our organization, and we're kind of moving to the next level. Okay, so moving along, is Latanya back on? Here's our opportunity that everyone seems to enjoy. We get a lot of positive feedback from this segment of our meeting. So if there's anyone who would like to share what's going on, share an update with either their activism or their groups that they're supporting, this is our segment. Please keep your comments brief. It's called the Members Minute for a reason.
Keep an eye on my portrait. It will be green, yellow, and red, depending on how much time you got.
What if you can't see it? Well, anyway, I always love the Members Minute. I get so much from you guys about information, what's going on. This is a moment that we all need to be active. And so this is your 1 minute to talk about what you got going on. So I need 2 minutes because I have a guest here that she came all the way to join me. But here's my Members Minute. My organization, Cannabis Reformer Houston, we're having just a social where we're going to get together. We're going to talk about these 2 years that we have left to fight again for legalization of cannabis. It's going to be here at Midtown Bar and Grill, August the 27th. Let me make sure. Yeah, August the 27th from 7:30 to 9. So you can meet me here at Midtown Bar and Grill. And also my friend, Patricia Alvarez, she is here and she wants to speak about what she got going on. And she's a really great friend of mine. I'm trying to go fast. I met her at one of my Cannabis Reformer Houston meetings. And she supports veterans because she is one too that deals with PTSD and also taking too many meds. You know, they want to just kind of get off of that. So she supports me with that. So I'm going to give her a moment to kind of tell you about what she does. There you go, Patricia.
Hello, everybody, for all the members watching on Zoom and on Facebook. As Latonya said, my name is Patricia Olivares. During the 2020 election cycle, I was a campaign manager. Currently, I'm a political consultant with the Sexton firm. We're a national firm. So basically what I want to say here is this, coming from my experience as a campaign manager, for all those that aren't running for office, it's real important that we support these Democratic candidates, whether it's through time, whether it's through money. I'd encourage everybody, whether it's $1, $5, to give money to these candidates and to their campaigns because it's so important. And if you can't give money, definitely give your time. I don't want to take up too much time because I know we got important messages to get out and, you know, everybody wants to make their voice heard. But I just want to thank everybody for giving me this time to talk to you and just letting you know that I'm here to support each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, that's what's up. Thank you so
right.
much. And she came to stay with me, guys. So I love her and I appreciate her, guys. So John, I give it back to you. You got it.
All right. Thank you, Latonya.
Don't forget, people, come get the shirts. Come get some shirts.
Yeah, someone go down and visit Latonya. She needs some more company. All right. Hey, Jerry, I see you got your hand up. What you got to say this month, bro?
First thing I want to ask is whether the money that's being collected for the shirts are being put in an account somewhere that does not make them go to the state or the national. That's a question. I have an answer for that. And then I have a statement to make after that, but I just want to have that question answered.
Yeah, so real quickly, I'll be taking that cash and putting it in our new chapter account.
Okay. All right, good. All right. So now my announcement is that I was part of an event last weekend called the A-Leaf Summit. The idea behind the summit was created by Senate District 17 and Senate District 13 to find votes within the A-Leaf community that we believe are there, that would be Democratic if they were actually voting, and but they tend to have low propensity voters. And so the goal has been to actually identify precincts. There are about 5 of them that are already identified that would be good candidates for canvassing and actual relationship talking with folks about what's important to them and get them on board as Democrats and getting them to vote. So I would encourage you to get involved with that process. If you're not, it's in Southwest Houston. And if you have questions, you can get in touch with me and I can put my information in the chat as well.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Jerry. Hey, Ann, I see your hand up.
Yes, so Jerry and I went up to Boston to listen to the SB1 hearing. That's the first time I've been to the Texas Legislature, and that was quite an experience. But the one thing I wanted to mention is that I was in Ann Johnson's office who was letting me use a computer to type up a written testimony because it didn't look like they were going to make time for many to testify. It turned out to be true. So I'm typing away on our computer and a little screen pops up that talks about the metrics of who is registered to speak against the House bill version of the voting, repression bill. And it was 58 had registered to testify for, and 467 had registered to testify against. And I just think that statistic is telling and still shocking to think about what kind of representation we actually have. So I want to share that.
Thank you, Ann. And thanks for staying active. It goes back to kind of all the messages we've heard today about not only do we need to find a way to better message, but we need to find ways to get like-minded people registered and out participating in the process and eventually voting. So thank you for all of that. Anyone else have anything to say during our members' minute? All right. Well, we kind of had a short.
Actually, I'm going to take a quick members' minute.
Yes. Thank you.
Because I just realized somehow something got dropped from our agenda. We need to talk about the endorsement steering committee.
Yeah, there should be. I think we still have a slide maybe coming up.
Oh, is that after this?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Okay, so hang in there, people. We're not done yet.
No, we're not done. Not done yet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and flip to that next screen, Jeremy. And then we'll kind of wrap things up.
All right, so if you check in the chat, I'll put all the links right now for the different events that I will be mentioning. So there's a lot of things going on how you can get involved with Our Revolution. First thing we want to mention, OR National is putting on a training on how we can get more organized on issues throughout the month of August. These trainings is going to be on August 11th, but there are 2 times. I put the central times, but if you sign up on the Mobilize, they'll give you the Eastern time zones. So please pay attention to the times. I will be 100% honest. I don't know the details of this training. I'm attending to go to the 8 o'clock one to check it out. I hope to see y'all there as well. Our next meeting is going to be on September 4th. This is Labor Day weekend. We will be focusing our meeting on labor issues. We have 2 very exciting guests, a representative from the HCLA, the Harris County Labor Assembly, and another speaker from the IBEW, who will talk about the labor movement here in Harris County. Same time, 2 o'clock, first Saturday of the month. Please sign up, clicking the Mobilize link in the chat. We also have a new work group. Scott mentioned earlier that we have a new endorsements work group where we'll be working on endorsements for this coming November election. So a lot of judges, y'all are planning, your election is not 2021, but 2022. Y'all are going to have to wait your turn on our endorsements. We're going to focus on the local municipality and school board races that have their election this November in 2021. So judges, if you don't get a questionnaire in a couple weeks, it's because we didn't send you one. All right, so don't freak out. But if you are running for school board or a local municipality here in Harris County, be on the lookout. Also, if you want to join the work group, please sign up on the Mobilize link here. Our first meeting is going to be August 16th. It's a Monday at 6 o'clock. The good thing is we have a lot of stuff from our previous endorsements, so we're not starting from scratch here. We're going to review old questionnaires, update them, and we're also going to start doing some research, figure out which candidates we need to vet and which ones do we want to endorse.
Hey, Jeremy, before you move on, you mind if I give 30 seconds here? This is one of our most important, committees, in my opinion, that we really need all hands on deck. It takes a lot of man hours to get all this work done and woman hours to get this work done. And so please, if you're interested in this process, get involved. You can help shape the way our questionnaires go out, the questions that are asked, the way the candidates are screened. And most importantly, you can't complain at the end of the day, right? That you don't like the people that were invited. Be part of the process. Don't complain. we can use your help. We need, a good, strong committee to vet all these candidates. Thanks, Jeremy.
No problem. The more help we have, the easier the work is. We also have another work group, our communications work group. If you would like to come help out in our communications work group to expand our presence on social media as well as within the community, please join us on next Wednesday, August 11th at 6 o'clock. It'll be a short meeting, usually lasts about an hour. Please sign up using the Mobilize link. Also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and also on TikTok. Our neighboring chapter, the Brazoria Fort Bend, will be having their meeting next Saturday on the 14th, same time, 2 o'clock. The meeting is also in the link. You can click to sign up on the Mobilize. Scott, do you know who the speakers are going to be for this meeting?
I don't think it's planned yet.
So it's a surprise guess. You know what that means. It's going to be exciting. And that is our meeting. Thank you everyone for coming. Please, Latanya said that she plans to stay a little bit longer. So if you want to head out to Midtown Bar and Grill on Gray Street, you can go get your t-shirt now. West Gray
Street. I will be here until 5 o'clock. So if there's anyone who wants to still come and get a shirt, come on by.
That's the
Thanks,
Midtown Bar and
everybody.
Grill. Yes. Please go
Thank you
by
very much.
and support our revolution and support Latanya. She's been out there waiting for you guys. It's good to see everybody. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Great meeting.
Great meeting always. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. See you, Judge. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
As always.